Hello folks, let me give you an update on what's happening after the last kind of dramatic days, I guess would probably be the best way to describe it. Today is Wednesday the 5th of November and I was released from hospital here in Kuala Lumpur on Monday after spending, from Friday till Monday, diagnosed with having sepsis, and if you know what that is, it's pretty serious. So I'm feeling better would be the very quick summary of all of this. I've had a couple of days there where I've just been in my bed just next to me here and haven't really been able to move too much. Released on Monday after being flooded, just absolutely flooded with painkillers and antibiotics to treat the sepsis. My fingers developed kind of a rash and pains, and when I left on Monday I thought I felt quite good, and I got back to the apartment here, and as the drugs that the hospital gave me wore off, things kind of started to change a little bit. And I would say that on Monday night into Tuesday morning, I thought I was going to have to go back to A&E. I thought the infection was back. I was building up a temperature. I had this kind of aches and pains all over again, and I was trying to decide, like, am I sick again? Am I doing that man thing again? Or is this just the body kind of in recovery mode? I'll tell you, my bum, just my actual cheeks of my bum, felt like I had been slapped all night as the nerve endings started to kick back in, and it was really hard to tell what was happening, but it was like an intense burning. And all around my groin area, having had kidney stones lasered out, I couldn't tell, is this like side effects? And passing blood is quite a worrying sight. You know, people have messaged me in the comments saying, oh, I've had kidney stones and I've gone through lithotripsy, which was the procedure. You know, is this the sepsis? Is this the surgery? What's happening here? It was all quite a lot to navigate, but I kind of rode it out, and then Tuesday felt a bit better, just a little touch here and there, and then today I've woke up and I'm just feeling much better. I don't feel like I can go outside and go for a walk and do things yet. My voice is a bit hoarse, but I had a decent night's sleep last night. I talked about this before, but you know, as a man, when you wake up with morning glory, over the last couple of days, that has been something that would just wake you up. The pain has just been like, just the bruising from the laser surgery, a stent being fitted, catheter, all of those kind of things has made me quite tender. That would be an understatement. Right, I just wanted to say thank you to everybody that's left me such caring and compassionate messages. I've read everything that people have posted, and when I was in the hospital, just when I was kind of going through moments of like fever and everything else, just getting my phone out to kind of distract my brain a little bit was just incredibly reassuring. So thank you to you all. It has meant so much. This was not the direction I was a bit expecting with this channel, right? Posted that video in the park. It's had like 40,000 views or something now, and people are like, oh, well done, you've escaped the UK and done all of this. Next video, boom, not well. Next video, sepsis. Oh my life. There's a guy in next door doing a bit of work right now, so hammering and drilling and all that, just to kind of add to it all. So if you hear that, that's what that is. Yeah, that. So I'll tell you a couple of like funny stories, right? A couple of things that happened in the hospital. Well, one or two funny and one a bit more closer to home. When I got into the hospital, right, when they wheeled me into A&E and then up into the ward that I'd been on, where the journey all started, I'd mentioned I ended up in the same room that I kind of started all of this some weeks ago, right? And the man who was like the noisy man, he wasn't there. but there was a kind of young man in there, I think in his 30s, and he had the hiccups. He had the hiccups every minute that he was awake, and I'm going to layer it here, right? So when you start to hear it, I was recording it, right? Now it was a kind of urology department, and I looked it up on AI, something to do with a kidney thing creates this hiccup reaction. Oh man, I felt for that guy. I felt for that man, because he just couldn't get any respite. The second he opened his eyes from sleeping, he was hiccuping. But I'm a terrible sleeper. I'm an overthinker, terrible sleeper. I travel with an eye mask, earplugs, headphones, right? So I had my earplugs in, could still hear them. I had my headphones on, noise cancelling headphones, listening to music. But the nurse said you can't wear them because we need to take your temperature. You're running a fever and we can't tell what temperature you're at. Your headphones are making your ears warmer than they probably are. I'm like, okay. So I'm listening to this guy hiccup, right? And I honestly, I felt for the guy. But I was like, John, I can't freak out this time. And there was no single room available, so I'm just having to deal with it. And all I could hear is this, like, all night. All night. Anyway, he left, right? He left and I ended up in the room myself. Now, here's a little kind of sensitive story part of this, right? And I'll try and tell this without getting upset, which I always normally do. It's not really the plan. When my dad passed away last year, he had a couple of days in hospital, right? And I went to the hospital and I spent days at the side of his bed. My dad's official death notification says multiple organ failure. He ultimately had kidney failure when he was in the hospital, right? Kidney failure. And now I'm in hospital with a kidney infection resulting in sepsis, right? So you can imagine the mental gymnastics that are going on in my mind during all of that. On my dad's last day, he was in bed and he was like burning up, right? So he was saying to me, can you open the window, shut the window, open the window? And you couldn't really talk a lot, so it was a lot of directions, right? And I was kind of like, I felt like he was keeping me on my toes. And then I'm in the hospital and I'm saying to Yvonne, can you put the aircon off? Can you turn it off? Can you put it on? Can you turn it off? Because I was just burning up, freezing. All of that's playing in my mind. And I can remember sitting with my dad at one point, right? And rubbing his forehead. Which is one of those things you do with a baby. Try to get him to go to sleep, you know. You just rub, the eyes go. My dad hadn't really slept in like 5 days when he was in. He was nil by mouth. And see, just being able to put hands on him, that feeling, just contact. I was getting that from Yvonne. And I can't tell you just what it meant, what it felt like whew, just your brain stops from fever, illness, and it's like, oh, the touch. Whew. And I've thought about that a lot the last few days. And I was just really glad that I was able to do that for my dad. Because I realised the last couple of days just how much it meant. Right, that's enough of that bit. And then I'm in this room myself, right? And it starts storming and I'm awake at like 2 o'clock in the morning. They're coming in every hour to change the medication. So a new bottle of antibiotics, new painkiller bottle in the hand, and changing it every hour. So they're coming in like waking me up. So I just can't sleep like that. So I'm awake. I've got a TV above my bed. And it's got a movie channel and I'm watching films like The Bourne Identity, and I watched a film called 15 Minutes with Robert De Niro, and I watched Lord of the Rings, just bored out my mind and just tried to distract myself. And they had the movie It was on, right, the horror movie. I'm a big horror fan. I grew up on horror movies. I love them. I'm watching a horror movie. I'm in a hospital, right, and it's empty in my room, and the ward is deadly silent, and it's storming outside, lightning, thunder and lightning, right? And I'm texting my mate back in Scotland who's a big horror movie fan, and I'm like, his name's John as well, and I'm like, John, this is the start of every horror movie. This is like 28 days later. So I'm literally driving myself insane, sitting in a hospital ward, watching horror movies with the storms, thunder and lightning going on outside, right? So I chuckled a bit. That gave me a wee bit of a giggle. And the last of all of this, right, just that I'll sign off on this bit, right? If you've been watching this, I know so many people, I see the names in the comments, and I just think, I feel incredibly blessed that people watch this like a series. If you've been watching this, you'll remember that in the first hospital video when we arrived, I told you that there was a man playing piano in reception, and he was playing Que Sera Sera, right? And I was saying to Yvonne, what the F, right? Que Sera Sera. I'll cut it in here, right, so you can see it for yourself. Now, I had to go and pay the bill, right? So I've paid the bill. I'm now, I think, at £12,500. It's cost to kind of treat me, 12,500 quid so far. People have been asking me, have you got insurance? Yes. Have they helped? No. Have they been in contact with me? No. No, they haven't. I'm going to cover this in some detail down the line. It's created immense stress throughout this period when you should just be trying to focus on your health. It's not a travel insurance, it's a Nomad insurance, and it's underwritten by a global organisation. And I would say right now, my experience hasn't been positive. But I've submitted all of the documentation. The hospital has been incredible. The staff, the doctor, everybody, in terms of levels of care, phenomenal. I couldn't have became iller in a better place. Just don't become ill, that's the key part. So I went in, you've got to go pay the bill before they give you all the discharge documentation, right? And they don't take the tube out your hand and all that till you've cleared the bill. Now, when I checked in through A&E, Yvonne went and paid it, they took 5,000 ringgit, which is about £1,000, just to take me through A&E. And then after my first day, when they diagnosed me with sepsis, they started texting Yvonne saying, you need to come and pay more money. And Yvonne was like, look, we'll deal with that later. So I went to pay it on the last day, Monday, and it was another 3,500 ringgit on top. And I paid that, and then they took the tube out of my hand and they gave me the discharge documentation. And then we headed downstairs. Now, a slight caveat to that, do you know what's in the hospital? An O'Brien's sandwich shop. An O'Brien's, when was the last time you seen an O'Brien's sandwich shop? They're everywhere here in Kuala Lumpur. It's totally freaked me out. I was in one, and I don't even want to admit this, right, but I was feeling so unwell. I was in the one in the hospital that I had a tiny accident with myself whilst I was in there, because I have no control over things right now. I've been so flooded with medication and with the surgery and everything else that I have zero control. So I have a little horror in my head about what happened to me in an O'Brien's with a pair of joggies on, but that's a story for another day. So come down the stairs, I see the O'Brien's, and we're heading out the door, and the piano man is there. And I honestly, if there were signs in life about music being intertwined to your life, right, this would be the sign off. So on the day that I'm coming in, they're singing Que Sera Sera, and on the way out, he was playing ABBA, Money, Money, Money. Money, 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 it's a rich man's world. And I'm thinking, Christ on a bike. 12.5 grand later, and this guy's playing Money, Money, Money by ABBA. It's like, it's little life, right? That's it. That's the update. I'm stuck in this room because I can't go far because I've not got that control back yet. And Yvonne's away to the shops to get us some nice food from a supermarket nearby, something fresh. So thank you to everybody that's messaged. Thank you to everybody that's watched all of this stuff. We're back on track in the next couple of days. Do you know, I'll say this, right? There's a barbecue place down the street that does massive salt beef sandwiches and brisket and everything else. And see, since I found that out, I have been mentally fantasizing about like brisket or something. It's a Malaysian place that's brought back Texas style cuisine, and he does it right. And I'm just like, I cannot wait to be able to go outside and walk down there and have something just ridiculously juicy and protein filled to eat. But I feel that'll be a few days away yet. Thanks everyone. Thanks. See you in the next one.